Assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, ni hao, good morning, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. Got an interesting quote today, I think so anyway, and I'll come back to that in a little while. But that is one from someone who I really like, Anthony Hopkins, but we'll come on to his quote, which I think is absolutely fabulous. How are you today? Welcome. If you haven't been here before, this is Ken at 10. We broadcast every day live at 10 a.m. to tell you about what's going on here in the local property market in southwest London, Norbury, which is situated between Streatham to the north and Croydon to the south. And we talk about topically, what's going on with property, what's going on locally, and any national stuff as well. So I hope you're doing well today. Here in Norbury, it is sunny. It's actually sunny. It's not grey and overcast. It's a beautiful autumnal day. Better than most. I'd say it's a bit more like a spring day, actually. It's rather nice. Not a cloud in the sky. Very bright and clear, glad to say. A few headlines for you today, starting off with the Times. Banks need to help first-time buyers. Michael Gove has urged banks to offer first-time buyers riskier mortgages to help solve the housing crisis. According to the Community Secretary, lenders have been overcautious since the 2008 financial crash. I would agree with that. We have lots of tenants locally that have a rent which is more than the equivalent mortgage, and they've been paying it for many years, and yet they can't get the equivalent mortgage, even though we could demonstrate and prove that they've been reliable with their rent for a number of years. And I do feel frustrated for these people. They are the forgotten ones, the people that can afford their rent. The rent's the same as the mortgage, but they can't get on the ladder because lenders say so, because their criterion doesn't quite fit. The computer says no. So I completely agree with that. He told MPs that the housing crisis would not be fixed by simply building more homes. Well, to be fair, Mr. Gove would say that, wouldn't he? Why? Because they're not building enough houses and never do. So they always come up with, the answer is not building more houses. Of course, the answer is building more houses. We haven't got enough. Think about it. But nonetheless, obviously, they're going to try and steer you away from that. And I wonder whether this is a soundbite. They're actually going to do something about it. Let's read on. Mr. Gove also criticised developers of dangerous high-rise buildings who are accused of behaving like cowboys. He said the blocks covered in cladding had been essentially encased in petrol, as he promised to protect leaseholders from grotesquely disproportionate fees. Well, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? Let's see if he does anything positive on that. Let's hope so. Appearing before MPs on the Housing, Communities and Local Government Committee, Mr. Gove also suggested that the government would devolve more powers to local mayors to deliver the government's levelling up agenda, as he promised to deliver a white paper of the flagship policy on Boris Johnson's premiership before Christmas. Sounds all a bit soundbite to me. Not convinced in any of that, but I do agree with him on one thing, and that is first-time buyers. Banks are too cautious. They need to loosen up a bit, especially with such a thriving market. They can, they've got the security of the property. What do they want from these people? Give them a break, give them a chance, get them on the ladder. That's what I say. Daily Mail says the best case for growth is 7% in 2022, according to Strutt and Parker. They also say that this is the best case, and the downside prediction is for just 2% growth. It says that following significant house price growth to date, the outlook remains positive for 2022 and beyond. He says that beyond London, we've seen every part of the UK outperform in terms of transactions in 2021, with coastal villages and the Cotswolds emerging as particular hotspots. Well, we know that, don't we? We've said for a long time the exodus has been for the Zoom commuter. But what's interesting now is that's flipping on its head a bit, and people are returning to the cities. And you're very welcome. Come back and join us here in London. It's good to see a few people registering and doing that, because, the commuter's not gone away. It's just been temporarily suspended, and people will be required back in offices. As much as we'd all like to virtually work, it's not going to happen for a lot of us. Home buyers with large deposits are hit by rate increases. Well, we've been saying this. You heard it here first a long time ago. We've been saying for a long time that, if you can fix your rate, now's a good time. Well, that's not mortgage advice. Interesting one that's been in the news a lot is about SMRs. These are small modular reactors. Now, if you're interested in energy saving measures and what to do, then we have a really interesting podcast this week. I've got just below me here, you can see how to find the podcast. And this Friday, we have Bob Harris, who is a specialist and expert in these things. And he's going to tell us how he resolved his energy issues on a brand new build called the Earth Dome in Norbury, and what you can do to make the best of this new agenda of trying to get your properties to a band C if you're a landlord, and just to be more energy efficient, save the planet, save some money if not. So really interested to see what Bob's got to say. He's always interesting, knows his onions, and we'll be talking to him about that. But this is about exactly that. They're saying that there's a project by Rolls-Royce, or led by Rolls-Royce, to develop a number of miniature nuclear reactors. These are called small modular reactors, and it's estimated to create around 40,000 regional jobs by 2050. The first plant coming online by 2031. Each of the plants will be the size of around 2 football pitches and will be able to power around 1 million homes. That may sound like a lot, but in nuclear terms, that is tiny, hence the word small. Business Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng says the number of project represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the UK to deploy more low-carbon energy than ever before. Rolls-Royce and other partners will put 195 million into the project over 3 years, unlocking 210 million in government grants. Well, we need the power. Why? Because we're all going over to electric, aren't we? Next year is going to be the critical year for electric vehicle adoption, and that is just going to drain more power from the grid, and we're already struggling with that. So, we need to bring those on as soon as possible. The Vatican has lost a load of money on property deals. Well, who knew? You'd think divine intervention would take place, wouldn't you? It's expected to lose an estimated 100 million from its charity funds intended for the poor when it sells off a London office building. It's been reported. The Holy See is in the final stages of selling 60 Sloane Avenue in Knightsbridge to Bain Capital for about 200 million, and they invested 300 million from money donated by Catholics for charitable purposes. Oh, that's frustrating, isn't it? And that's former Harrods car showroom. The investment by the Vatican Secretary of State and the Central Administration has mired the institution in years of legal wrangling, apparently. Now, Anthony Hopkins, what do you got to say? Love this. Little quote for you. I like a quote. Well, today's quote from Anthony Hopkins. None of us are getting out of here alive. So please stop treating yourself as an afterthought. Eat delicious food. Walk in the ocean. Jump in the ocean. Walk in the sunshine. Say the truth that you've been carrying in your heart like a hidden treasure. Be silly, be kind, be weird. There's no time for anything else. Anthony Hopkins. Love that. That's it from me today. Hope you have a fantastic day. Look after your family and friends. We'll be back tomorrow, another Ken at 10. Until then, ciao.